beautiful song right there by Njoki Munyi Rejesha. It's brand new, actually, quite new still. Powerful, powerful, beautiful song. And it's time for us now to have a look at the newspapers. And the Standard here is going with the headlines in the dock alone. And more on that says choices and consequences. President William Ruto ordered police to shoot and maim rioters. Earlier, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen had boasted that he would stand by any officer accused of manhandling protesters, even if the charge was murder. He declared he was a lawyer and would defend them to the end. But when Clinzy Masinde sat in the dock accused of shooting an unarmed hawker, there was no president or minister. He covered his tear-streaked face, overwhelmed by the gravity of the charges. The world he once knew was gone, and in that crushing moment, he was utterly alone. Quite unfortunate. And I see here court nullifies IEBC gazettement. The High Court has overturned President Ruto's gazettement of the IEBC chair and six commissioners for defying an interim court order, with the judges stating that their directions must not be treated as mere suggestions. This is a story covered on page 7 of the Standard. And just look at more stories covered on the Standard newspaper. I see PS Bitok demands arrest of Alliance Girls teacher over student abuse allegations. This is covered there. And I also see survey why majority of Kenyans don't trust the police anymore. Of course, right now it's quite an interesting time whereby there's a big rift between the people and also the police officers. The long adage that goes, police is your friend, is no longer a reality. There's so much fear, so much uncertainty with what they would do. I also see how police locked up boy nursing bullet wounds in cell for 2 days. Quite unfortunate here. Very, very bad, because now that obviously puts the person in more danger. I see a parliamentary committee has cast doubt on the rollout of a countrywide job creation project following its lengthy delay despite drawing over 1 million applicants. Over 1 million applicants. Tells you the dire situation that is in our country of joblessness. And I think that's why many are idle and feel frustrated. And, you know, the only option is to take it to the streets. So that is what is being discussed on the Standard. You can have a look at that story as well. And I also see here Margaret Wambui Kenyatta, Nairobi's first and only female mayor. A story is covered there about her feature story, and you can have a look at it. And I also see helping children understand periods. This is also covered on the Standard today, and you can have a look at that story in more detail. Now, let us have a look at the Daily Nation and see what is being reported. The top page goes with the title IEBC's 2027 test starts. So, number one here is see conduct 22 pending by-elections. So this is just a full in tray of what to expect. Number one, I see there have been vacancies, in some wards and constituencies after the death of some MCAs and MPs, nullification of election results, and appointments to the cabinet. There is one vacancy in the Senate, 6 for MPs and 15 for MCAs. Number two, register new voters. A mass registration of voters as well as a cleanup of the voter register must be conducted ahead of the polls. Number three, what is to be done? Boundary delimitation. Article 89, Section 2 of the Constitution states that IEBC shall review the names and boundaries of constituencies at intervals of not less than 8 years and not more than 12 years. The last review was done in 2012, and the timelines for delimitation of boundaries lapsed in March 2024. Number four here is conduct a continuous voter education. So the commission is expected to enhance public awareness of electoral processes ahead of the general election. Number five, procure election materials. New voter registration software and systems are needed ahead of the elections. As the IEBC says, the ones used in previous elections have reached the end of their expected industry support life cycle. And then More on the same, I see High Court judge says to uphold the rule of law and legitimacy of the IEBC to the people of Kenya, and illegality cannot be the foundation of legitimacy. More on the same, I see the hiccup here is that the High Court yesterday quashed President William Ruto's Gazette notices appointing the IEBC chairman and 6 commissioners, but at the same time cleared the way for him to gazette them afresh after throwing out all petitions against the polls team. This now paves the way for the new electoral officials to take office and get down to the hard work of preparing for the next general election. So we have started the move because, you know, in 2027, a time like this, I think we will be in a whole different place. So this is a story covered on pages 4 and 5, and you can have a look at it. So more on politics, I see silent wars rock the opposition over its flag bearer. Beneath the surface of publicized unity, disputes in the opposition coalition now threaten to derail plans for a joint presidential flag bearer in 2027. The team has at least 6 political outfits: former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's Democracy for the Citizens Party, Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper, People's Liberation Party of Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa's Democratic Action Party, the Democratic Party under Justin Muturi, and Jubilee of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, represented by National Chairman Terome Salitoi and former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. Mr. Gachagua has, however, dismissed talk of cracks and vowed to ensure President Ruto loses the 2027 vote. This is a story covered on page 7. Wanasema with Ruto itakuwa ni one term peke yake. But anyway, we continue. I see a transition here. Chief Kadhi leaves behind a rich legacy of humility and selflessness. So the death of Chief Kadhi Sheikh Abdul Halim Hussein Athman yesterday, after a long battle with illness, marked the end of a quiet yet profound chapter in his religious and judicial life. Page 2 covers that story. Page 31, Wanyonyi eyeing something special in star-studded race. The world will be treated to a thrilling spectacle in the athletics tonight when Olympics 800-meter champions Emmanuel Wanyonyi launches what promises to be his own push for a world record. A story covered on page 31, and that's on the sports. Now, more stories that are being reported here on the Daily Nation. Just to get deeper, I see the High Court has quashed President William Ruto's appointment of Erastus Ethekon as IEBC chairperson and 6 others as commissioners for breaching an interim order halting their gazettement and formal appointment. So that's just more on what has been covered on the top page, and you can have a look at the stories making the headlines, and also get deeper to understanding the state of the nation where we are as at now. The dust is settling, especially after the Sabasaba Maandamano and the other protests that preceded it. And we just continue to pray for this nation and believe that God is on the throne, even as we gear up towards the 2027 elections. Now, the truth of the matter is we may not have power to change what is happening now, but then we have power to change things during the elections to ensure that we are choosing leaders that we know are going to bring change. We are not just going for the manifestos and the bribes, but we are really participating in thinking deep and praying so that God will lead us to the leaders that we need for this nation of ours. So let us plan to plug in and vote so that we will have the leaders that we want to see. If you don't vote, you are only electing the leaders that will make you protest again. So you would rather do your duty and also vote. So that's what is being reported in our newspapers this morning. You can grab a copy of your favorite and also tune in to Hope FM at the top of every hour. We do have news updates. So that means you can get informed about what is happening throughout the day. And also at Hope TV Kenya, we have Dira at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. we have Newswatch. However, today, something will be different. We'll be having Men on Record at around 7, and Gigi will be there talking about I will marry when I want. You want to catch that. I know it's going to be amazing. I personally will watch this particular episode because I feel it's very much important to hear the men's perspective on why sometimes they don't want to marry and why they don't want to give in to the pressures. And maybe they're already of age, you know. So that's what will be discussed later on with Gigi. That's why he's not here with me today, so that he can be ready for the evening. But anyway, let's have a look at the video of the day. When we come back, we'll talk about it, even as we gear up towards the interview.